You have seen this before, right? Right? Still don't know how you do it.
Smell the silent judgment?
Please.
Marvel Studio managed to create a unique cinematic universe that became a cultural phenomenon. This is a whole alternative world with its own rules and heroes. Those heroes look phenomenal, and this is all due to the dedicated work of the cast. They undergo crazy physical transformations to fit the role. They do not simply portray superheroes, they become superheroes. Watch our new video to learn how they do it. Superheroes Among Us, transformations Marvel actors undergo for the roles.
StarLord.
Who?
StarLord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Chris Pratt had to say goodbye to his belly. The future StarLord Chris Pratt auditioned in his regular, not-so-superhero shape. He used to do comedies before that, so he did have some belly. They had to beg the director of Guardians of the Galaxy to audition Chris. The actor, though, was full of resolve and went to one of the best fitness trainers in Hollywood who used to coach Chris Hemsworth. The process of turning from a regular guy who weighed around 300 pounds into a leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy team was extremely difficult. First, he picked up bodybuilding to gain muscle. Then he introduced cardio into his routine, and right before the filming began, he did only cardio to get as shredded as possible. The actor's favorite exercises included plank, hanging leg raises, squats, bench presses, and chest dips. To keep things more exciting, he complemented his 5 times per week gym routine with swimming, boxing, kickboxing, and triathlon. Chris got praised by his personal coach later on for not copping out. He followed all the instructions, was the first one to get to the gym, and stayed afterward to get some more training in. What a perfect client. Pratt was on a diet devised specifically for him. It had no fast carbs except brown rice and oats. Obviously, he had to say goodbye to fast food, fried foods, pizza, and beer that he loved so much. He had mostly chicken breast, fish, and egg yolks on his menu, and he would mix it all up with nuts, avocado, vegetables, and protein shakes. He would indulge himself only once a week with a steak. He also drank a lot of water. I was peeing all day long every day. That part was a nightmare, Chris complained. Pratt managed to lose almost 60 pounds and got the physique of a superhero. The screenwriters of the TV show Parks and Recreation, in which he was cast at the time, even had to cut the scene where Chris's character takes off his shirt because he's definitely not the type of guy who would be so fit. You have to burn off all the crap you've put in your body, and then you have to replace it with really good food. This is the advice the actor gave to his fans, and we're talking about doing this for 8 months straight. Chris even reassures people who want to turn fat into muscle like he did that 8 months is nothing and that time will fly by. His recipe for a perfect result is pretty simple. Train amazing, eat amazing, and sleep amazing.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Chris Evans hated every second. The second Chris in the Marvel Universe, Chris Evans, already played a superhero in the movie Fantastic Four and was in good shape, but he had to work on his body too. Before they started filming Captain America: The First Avenger, he had to gain from 22 to 33 pounds of muscle, get leaner, and cut the level of subcutaneous fat down to 10%. Back then, Chris decided to fully trust his trainer and did everything he was told, completely changing his lifestyle. But he wouldn't agree with his colleague that time flew by. Despite the fact that he spent less time in training, he exercised for 2 to 4 hours 6 times per week, from Monday to Saturday. Sometimes his trainer would go easy on him and give him 2 days off in a week, but that didn't help much. Chris hated his mentor silently cursing him. He hated the movie, Captain America, his stupid suit and shield. I'd walk out and I'd be like, I need to vomit. I need to go to sleep for a week, he shared with journalists. Training sessions were monotonous and exhausting. We would take 2 muscle groups, whether it was chest and back or biceps and triceps, and we would just destroy those muscles for just over 2 hours. And then we'd cool down with core and abs. And then we need a lot of body weight exercises, different kinds of pull-ups, bars, sit-ups, but Evans mostly did lifting. He and his trainer decided to drop cardio, leaving only occasional control sprints and make sure speed and coordination were still there. Captain America is always moving and doing acrobatic stunts to develop flexibility and mobility. He did some gymnastics exercises that require maintaining a high heart rate during performance. As for regular cardio, Chris stayed away from it to channel all his energy into bulking. On top of excruciating training sessions, he also had to follow a certain diet. He ate 7 times per day. Just eating all the time, you think it sounds nice, but it's not, like cheeseburgers. You have to eat these bland, naked pieces of chicken and rice. His typical breakfast was oats topped with berries, nuts, and dried fruit. For lunch, he had chicken breast, boiled eggs, or rice. His dinner usually consisted of low-fat fish or that same old chicken paired with vegetables. He also consumed different sports supplements like protein shakes as a snack. Despite all the struggles, Chris achieved amazing results. He started off weighing 176 pounds at 6 feet, and within 90 days, he gained 22 pounds of muscle. On top of that, his body fat reduced from 12% to 8%. People magazine was also impressed with his transformation and named him Sexiest Man Alive 2022. My mom will be so happy, he says. She's proud of everything I do, but this is something she can really brag about.
Hang on. I'll be back around shortly. Do I really feel like we were connecting there?
Chris Hemsworth got too big for his costume. The Australian Chris was supposed to turn not just into a regular superhero, but into a god. The first instruction Hemsworth got from the director was to bulk up. There were rumors that Hemsworth took steroids to achieve a godlike body, but he denied it. Trust me, if you train like me, eat like me, and sleep like me, you'll get it. By the way, Thor's workout routine quickly became popular. It's no wonder that the actor decided to use the opportunity and launch his own app for health, fitness, and diet enthusiasts that help users set goals and reach them. For the first movie about God of Thunder, the actor gained 22 pounds of muscle, saying the main secret was a healthy diet. It was purely eating. It's not that fun. Reminisced he had huge servings of food. He consumed almost 4,000 calories per day. Of course, Chris didn't just eat, he exercised too. He almost lived in the gym, training 2 times per day, 6 days a week. He focused on chest muscles and legs, and as they were nearing the filming stage, the intensity increased. They could see all the hard work Chris Hemsworth did during the first days on set when they had to retailor Thor's costume. The one that was made 3 weeks prior was so tight in the arms that they went numb. We should mention that he was dehydrated as he wasn't allowed to have water in case there were shirtless scenes where he had to flash his physique. Before they started filming the third solo Thor project, Thor Ragnarok, Hemsworth got a new trainer. Training sessions became less intense and were about an hour long, using lighter weights, constantly changing the number of reps and the intensity, and introducing various exercises. These were the main principles of the new approach to training. Rest days weren't strictly set, so Chris wouldn't get exhausted. We should mention that the Australian actor did other gigs in between Marvel projects for which he had to lose weight. For instance, he lost 30 pounds for the role in the 2013 movie Rush. In 2015, he lost 30 pounds for the movie In the Heart of the Sea. During that time, he survived on 600 to 700 calories per day. And right after they wrapped, he gained almost 44 pounds for the next installment of Avengers. In Thor: Love and Thunder, Chris outdid himself and got in the best shape yet. He spent 12 months training, doing martial arts and keeping track of his calorie intake. On top of that, he had to maintain his shape for 4 months while they were filming. Hemsworth stressed that he's not some clumsy hunk as he had to stay flexible and movable for the role.
And I am Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr., not a kid anymore. Tony Stark wore his Iron Man suit more often than other Marvel characters, so Robert Downey Jr. didn't have to show off his muscles like his 2 co-star Chris's. He's also older, and his lifestyle used to leave much to be desired. He changed his habits and started eating healthy, practicing yoga and martial arts, but he reached new heights for the role of the millionaire superhero. At the gym, Robert focused on gaining muscle and building stamina, and outside the gym, he made sure he took time to recover. He had a personal yoga trainer and a rehabilitation specialist. "I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not a professional athlete. I have to be more thoughtful about my recovery," said the actor. While getting ready to appear as Iron Man, he was on a calorie surplus for mass gain, cutting down on carbs. A diet like this, strength training, and no cardio allowed Robert to put on 22 pounds of muscle for his first solo movie. He went to the gym 4 times per week, focusing on different muscle groups on different days, legs and upper body. He didn't have to become a walking muscle, he just had to look good and be able to perform his own stunts. In addition to that, Downey Jr. practiced the Chinese martial art Wing Chun, mastering his skills under the careful supervision of the stunt coordinator who worked on the first installments of Iron Man. By the way, Wing Chun changed the way the celebrity treats himself and others. Don't worry about looking like an idiot. It's like life. The less self-conscious you are, the better it works. Shared Downey Jr.
I like this one.
Brie Larson and her diet. To achieve the superhero physique of Carol Danvers, also known as Captain Marvel, Brie Larson also had to undergo training and change her diet. She was monitored by a personal trainer, working out at least 5 days per week. She kept busy for the remaining 2 days doing some simple recovery practices. An important part of her cardio was fight choreography, which the actress practiced at least 4 days per week, twice a day. Apart from that, she loved to dance and ride a bike. To work on her muscles and get stronger and more enduring, Brie included weights even in simple exercises. Larson had to lose some body fat, so she followed a strict diet and kept track of her calorie intake. The moment she reached her goal, her diet changed because now she had to preserve her muscle mass. She stuck with the concept of healthy snacking in between meals under the supervision of a dietitian. Usually, it was nuts or vegetables. For breakfast, Brie had protein powder mixed with water topped with some fresh fruit, almond butter, and flax seeds. On some days, she went for eggs with fruit or vegetables. Protein shakes gave her an energy boost so she could do intense training. Larson's lunch consisted of very nutritious and healthy products such as grilled chicken or salmon, as well as a serving of fruit or vegetables. For dinner, the actress would sometimes indulge herself in high-carb foods, pasta or lasagna, but she made sure the carbs didn't turn into fat. From time to time, Brie would treat herself to a donut or a cookie after an intense workout. Overall, there were no restrictions in the actress's diet, and she ate in moderation instead.
Yes, Mother.
Show him we mean business.
Will Poulter set his priorities. The third part of Guardians of the Galaxy came out in 2023, but filming began back in 2021. This is when Will Poulter started getting ready for the role of Adam Warlock. The actor took up sports nutrition and followed his trainer's instructions, switching up his diet. He would go from overeating to limiting himself. There were times he had to stuff himself with food, most probably chicken breast, and sometimes he was so hungry he was about to nibble on furniture. Apart from that, he started going to the gym more often. However, unlike most of his colleagues, Will prioritized his mental and physical health over impressive physique. He emphasized that he was in a privileged position since he got his training covered by the studio. But without financial support, such workouts and diets can be pretty harmful. Poulter said that he would never set an example of something unhealthy and unrealistic, so they put a lot of thought into his training plan.
Oh, you're using your made-up names. I'm Spider-Man then.
Tom Holland, not by gymnastics alone. While auditioning for the role of Spider-Man, the British actor Tom Holland demonstrated some acrobatic stunts, winning over the producers. He used to do gymnastics and dancing, but it wasn't enough to bring to life your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. The actor worked hard on gaining muscle, improving flexibility and endurance, and he did it for each new movie in the cinematic universe. For instance, he had to gain around 13 pounds of muscle for his third solo movie. It was a tough task, as in his previous project, Cherry, he portrayed a man suffering from PTSD and addiction. This is why Tom lost a lot of weight and then started quickly gaining it back for Spider-Man. It was impossible to get in the necessary shape within such a short period of time, so Holland gradually put on the weight while they were filming. The actor had a gym at his house, and he could target several muscle groups at once rather than focus on one area. The actor mostly worked with his body weight or with a couple of dumbbells. Tom combined high-intensity interval training with longer, less demanding exercises. These included strength exercises and cardio, allowing him to burn more calories faster and tackle several muscle groups at once compared to regular heavy lifting. He did the following exercises: plank shoulder taps, the same thing but with weights, dumbbell lunges, and naturally, push-ups. He had to perform the whole cycle with no breaks, followed by a 60-second rest, and then a new cycle began. The actor nailed his task and kept on training even after they wrapped Spider-Man No Way Home, as he had the adventure project based on the video game Uncharted upcoming.
What's your name, lady?
Rushman, Natalie Rushman.
Front and center. Come into the church.
Scarlet Johansson, a superhero and a mother. Scarlett Johansson confessed that she never stepped foot in the gym until she scored the role of Black Widow. But in 2009, before her Marvel debut, she had to hire a personal trainer to get closer to the superhero ideal. She lifted weights, did pull-ups, single-leg squats, and weighted push-ups. In 2014, Scarlett became a mother, and she did another round of preparing for the role of Black Widow while taking care of her child. She had gym sessions that lasted from 45 to 60 minutes, 4 to 5 times per week. They started at 6 a.m. while her daughter Rose was still asleep. Increasing endurance was another priority, since the actress had to always look fresh and strong, be it in take 1 or take 25. That's why Johansson practiced gymnastics, martial arts, hot yoga, and a cross of fitness and intense workouts. The last one was especially hard for the actress. Scarlett hates regular cardio, so her trainer made her do sprinting using victory ropes and dumbbells. The actress's workout routine included a lot of jumping, leg swinging, lunges, and sparring with a trainer. Of course, diet was an inseparable part of getting ready for the role. For the Avengers finale, Johansson restricted her meals. If she had dinner at 9 p.m., she wouldn't have her next meal until 9 a.m. Several days before they started filming, she cut carbs. Scarlett's trainer mentioned her competitive spirit and desire to excel in everything. By the way, one time he got into some trouble. His trainee broke his nose with a precise knee kick to his face. She shared that thanks to the role of Black Widow, she feels stronger than 10 years before.
Captain, it'd be my genuine pleasure.
Jeremy Renner and pointless workouts. Hawkeye Jeremy Renner states that his weight hasn't changed since he was 20, sitting at 158 pounds, but he certainly got some muscle definition while preparing for the Marvel movies. The actor was on a healthy and nutritious diet consisting of lean meat, rich in protein, fresh fruit, and vegetables. Sometimes he would allow himself to have some junk food like chips and teased his Marvel co-stars for whom Doritos were a taboo. While preparing for the role in the movie The Bourne Legacy, Jeremy trained for 8 hours per day, getting up at 4 a.m. to get everything done. To transform into Hawkeye, he trained under Olympic archers, but turned out that superhero archery is completely different from real life, and his training didn't really come in handy. Imagination, on the other hand, was of more value. For instance, sometimes the Avengers character uses the bow as a club. In cases like this, the choreography devised by professionals even got in the way. What did come in handy was stretching, which Jeremy included in every workout to stay flexible and perform all his stunts. By the way, Jeremy used a little trick to get into the superhero headspace. He made a playlist for his character and listened to it before filming his scenes.
Karan! Did you get that?
I did, sir.
Kumail Nanjiani flexed his abs. In 2021, the superhero movie Eternals came out, where Kumail Nanjiani played Kingo. Kumail shared that he ate everything he wanted for 4 months to get ready for the role. Fries, ice cream, desserts, going heavy on protein. He had his last meal of the day right before he went to bed. He had a full meal around 11:30 p.m. and went to sleep. And then during the cutting phase, his diet changed dramatically and he couldn't have any sugar. The actor trained 5 times per week, sometimes twice a day, following bodybuilding methods, even though before that he was a regular gym goer who spent 20 minutes on machines. By the way, Kumail's friends even did a whole intervention to get him out of the gym, but he didn't give up and cut his body fat percentage from 20% to 10% within 10 months. At 41, Nanjiani got abs for the first time, which made him super thrilled. However, he admitted that you can't achieve such results without working with the best dietitians, trainers, and unlimited funding from the movie studio that paid for all specialists. I'm glad I look like this, but I also understand why I never did before. It would have been impossible without these resources and time, said Kumail about his ripped body in an interview. He did have several trainers. One of them specialized in stretching and massage for recovery, another one did strength training, while the other one focused on running and cardio, and one more specialist coordinated the work. He also flaunted the results of his work on Instagram. "I never thought I'd be one of those people who would post a thirsty shirtless, but here we are," he wrote. The actor gave a shout out to his trainers and dietitians in the post and proudly said that he didn't get injured during filming and now he could almost touch his toes. Apart from that, he thanked his wife for putting up with him, whining and talking about workouts and dieting for a whole year. I promise I'll be interesting again someday, he concluded. But even after finishing the filming, Kumail didn't want to put on weight, so he kept on following a diet. He's on a low-carb diet for 5 days per week, and then he eats anything he wants on weekends. He has a soft spot for Pakistani cuisine, for example biryani, a dish made with rice and spices topped with meat, fish, or vegetables. But it's rich in carbs, so a meal like this makes you want to take a nap.
You're all not worthy.
So, whose transformation impressed you the most?